Alright, good evening everyone. Welcome to this week's market analysis. So we'll get started for the session. Okay, as usual, just quick disclaimer, everything that I'm covering over here are solely based on education purposes. Okay, and of course they do not directly translate to any form of financial advice. Okay. So to get started, let's take a look at what are some of the events to note for the week itself. So this week, we don't really have kind of like a lot of data, but we do have some that you probably want to pay attention to. For example, if you're into news trading, we do have the dollar CPI year-on-year data coming in. Okay, so that's definitely newsworthy, something that you can trade. Okay, off the release of that. And of course, you also want to pay attention that we do have the New Zealand RBNZ rate statement coming in on Wednesday morning. Okay, so these are the two primary ones. Not really a lot. If you take a look like last week itself on Friday NFP, the dollar did actually had a little bit of a whipsaw on Friday. Okay, because we have a mixed data over here. Our unemployment rate continued to worsen. And of course, NFP came in a little bit strong. So that kind of had a little bit of a whip, right? So unemployment rate dropping from 4% to 4.1 definitely is not good. It's definitely showing sign that the US economy is not as resilient anymore. Very likely we'll probably see the Fed cutting rates later part of this year or even going to next year. Okay, so that's definitely gonna happen. It's a matter of when. And of course, with unemployment picking up, that actually puts some pressure for the Fed to consider in terms of cutting rates. Okay. Now, this is actually a very important indicator, especially from an unemployment rate perspective, because historically, from a macro angle, whenever the unemployment rate start to do what we call an uptake, right? So unemployment rate has been falling, right? And right now we start to see that it may have bottomed and it starts to pick to the upside, okay, starting to go higher. That is actually 100% accuracy indicator of a future recession. Okay, so just very quickly see if I actually have that save up over here, kind of share with you as well. Okay, I think I did not put it into the list. Give me a while. Okay, it's not here. So let me just search it out, right? Okay, so over here, unemployment rate. Okay, so what you are seeing here is that you can see, right, unemployment rate has been falling. Okay, and of course, you know, that was COVID, but anyway, we see the bottom and starts to pick up, right? So as this continue to go, okay, one of the very strong indicator that you can consider to look out for, okay, is to add in the moving average. Where is it? Okay, just a simple moving average, but what you want to do is you do a 12 months, okay, moving average. Just change it to orange, okay, and another one, you do a 36-month moving average. Okay, so this indicator essentially, right, is from a macro perspective. You can see that we are, okay, kind of like, just change this to a line so it looks cleaner. We are actually crossing above the moving average. Okay, now from a macro perspective, this indicator often tells us that when this cross somewhere between 6 months to 12 months, we'll very likely see a recession. Now bear in mind, recession doesn't necessarily mean that the market is going to be bad or what or so not. Recession is just basically from an economic point of view, it's not good. Okay, so that's a kind of 100% indicator, right? Because this unemployment rate indicator has never failed. Okay, so now that we see this uptake, okay, from the latest 4.1, you can see we really crossed over the moving average itself. This kind of indicate that, you know, moving forward, maybe end of the year going to next year, we may see a recession. Okay, And of course, with recession coming with the fear of that, that put pressure, as I mentioned, onto the Fed to start cutting rates, or we may actually enter recession only then the Fed, eventually start to consider cutting rates. Okay, so there's something to look out for. Again, when there's a recession, it means that businesses are going to be impacted, right? And then from US itself, there's going to be a ripple effect globally as well, right? So that's something to just note for you, okay? And of course, doesn't mean that the stock market is going to crash or whatsoever not. Obviously, during recession, there are certain stocks that perform better. There's certain stocks that will be underperforming. Okay, obviously, growth stocks, tech stocks, may not perform as well during a recession phase. And of course, your staples, okay, companies that deal with necessity, medicals, things like that, will tend to be a little bit more of a recession proof, right? So have that in mind, right? Just want to share a little bit, beyond the FX market itself, okay? So that's something to note, and of course, the CPI data is also pretty important for the week itself. Cool. So with that, let's jump into our typical watch list over here. Okay, starting off with the dollar index. Okay, so dollar index has been falling. Of course, with NFP, we get a little bit of a whip, but didn't really move much. So I'm gonna continue hold on to a bearish bias. Okay, and over here I'm expecting the dollar continue to weaken, right, overall. But of course, short term we may actually see a little bit of a bounce, right, some kind of a pullback. If you're more of a short term, you can consider that potential trade, okay, to the upside. So that would bring you somewhere towards 105.50, and then after which, there's a good possibility we'll see another move down. Okay, so with that, of course, really depends on what the Fed is likely going to do, and of course, with the CPI data that is upcoming. Right. So euro dollar is kind of like the inverse of it. Okay, so euro dollar over here will be looking at upside opportunity. Okay, so same thing here. Okay, we're waiting for the pullback. Again, if you are more of a short term, you can consider a counter trend short term sell. And then if you're a swing trade, you wait for the pullback to get involved in the buy side of things. Okay, so there are some opportunities over there. GBP USD, I would suggest to just remain neutral. Okay, this push to the upside seems pretty impulsive. We'll probably need to relook at the entire count over here. I mean, this can still be overall a valid count in terms of a ABC, right? Some kind of a regular or expanding flat structure. Potentially something there too, right? But I'm just basically neutral right now and see how the market's going to develop from here, okay? Aussie, neutral as well, but looking at this recent move, there's a good possibility we may start to see a bit of a rejection down to retest this. We'll see. Okay, again, neutral on this at this moment, waiting for price to give us some sort of a clearer pattern before committing to a direction. Dollar CAD is pretty straightforward for me. If we can get a pullback, okay, a continuation of a correction towards 1.3680, then that will give me an opportunity to see if we can get a sell towards 1.3530. Okay, so dollar CAD here, we are bearish. Okay, dollar yen, continuation of a pullback here. So short term, we're expecting this to pull back towards 159.1. Okay, I think the market is definitely a little bit overextended, right? Especially on this move here. Okay, thus we get a pullback, but this move we didn't really get a pullback. So probably this is happening. Okay, so short term, looking for a continuation pullback to the downside at 159, right? But of course, overall trend now still remains bullish on the yen side of things, right? So this includes like pound yen, Aussie yen. Overall, the market seems to be pretty bullish. Okay. Gold here seems to be potentially giving us a short-term bearish bias, right? Of course, in the morning we didn't really get that yet, but I think right now, with this tiny bit of a reaction of the key area, okay, around the zone, there is a good possibility this will probably do something like that. Okay, so this can be seen as a three-wave move here, three-wave move here, and then of course this would likely, if that's going to be the case, this would likely come back and retest this low, right? So yeah, I think if we can get some sort of a continuation down, that will give us a very good potential setup to take a sell trade further to the downside, right? So this one here, I'll be sharing with a little bit more details, maybe in tomorrow's trade plan. For those of you receiving it, then do keep a lookout for it, right? I think that's a definitely an opportunity there to look out for it. Crude oil here as well, I think is pretty straightforward. Okay, what we have is that potentially a double top. Okay, kind of structure. Price did break below this neckline already. I would love to see a little bit more to the downside, or some sort of a corrective pullback. Then that would definitely give us an opportunity to take this sell as a short-term pullback, right? So again, this has been overextended quite a bit, so we're kind of expecting that pullback to come in. Okay, so again, gold and crude oil here. We'll be sending out the trade plan tomorrow. Okay, usually Monday I'll just let the market do its thing, and then I'll probably only look to execute trades like Tuesday onwards. S&P for the week here probably gonna be just remaining neutral. Okay, the market is definitely in a bullish trend, but I will want to again wait for some kind of pullback, right? Initially, we were expecting this to complete wave 5 and then a deeper pullback. We didn't really get that, okay? So we're kind of like just waiting for the pullback to kind of develop, and then we'll look for a buy, okay? So nothing much there. The pound yen, odd yen, again, nothing there, or just skip through. And then, of course, we have the pound Australia. Okay, pretty neutral at the moment. I would love to see some sort of a break above this first, right? I would like to see an impulsive break and then a corrective pullback. Then that would open up upside possibility. So as you can see, neutral right now, kind of double bottom structure, but we want that momentum break out of this structure. Okay, this may set up maybe closer towards the end of the week. Really depends on how price would develop from here on. Euro Canadian, bullish. Okay, but again, we're just waiting for the pullback to develop first. Then only we get involved in the buying, right? So ideally, we want to see some sort of a pullback. Then we can look for the upside here. So pretty similar to Euro Dollar. Probably need to give it some time for this entire thing to develop, right? Okay, so this two is kind of similar. So for me, for this week, as of today, based on what we are seeing, gold seems to be one of the opportunity to be setting up, right? As close as perhaps tomorrow. Probably we'll be putting in a pending order to sell. And then on crude oil, pretty much similar as well, right? So both of these are on the commodity side of things. Cool. Yeah, so other than this, kind of miss out on BTC. BTC did tag the bottom of the channel, right? So potentially what we can see over here in terms of Bitcoin. Okay. Let's put this in. Okay. So potentially what we may see on Bitcoin here is that the bottom may have concluded. Okay, can put this in here. Around 53675, right? So the bottom may have been concluded, and we may start to potentially look out for buy opportunity for Bitcoin. Okay, so now it's a little bit early, but of course, if we can get a little bit more continuation upside and a corrective pullback, that would set us up for a buy, right? So I'm still neutral for now, but I'm just highlighting that it's an early sign that the bottom may have found, right? Because we have this channel structure, we have the overall pattern here as a 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. So this can be a completed cycle of a pullback, and then we may start to see more upside. Okay, good. So yeah, overall those are the few things from me, right? I think my focus, at least from what I'm seeing here today, would very much be on the commodities, on gold as well as crude oil. Okay. In terms of some of the global indices, let's just look through them very quickly. NASDAQ here kind of updated a bit, quite similar to S&P. I think overall going to be neutral. Nothing much there. Okay, NASDAQ, a little reaction, but didn't really follow through. Gonna be suggesting a little bit more of the neutral point of view. I think US equities right now in terms of index probably just be a little bit patient at the moment. Okay. We'll see if there's any that is worth noting. This came down pretty strong as well. On the bass. Okay. Yeah, I think my take, global indices, I think right now probably not the clearest. Quite a bit of like going into consolidation, some of this index over here, so really don't want to focus too much on that. Okay, I mean generally the market, especially in FX, has been consolidating quite a bit for the past 2 months. Starting to see a little bit clarity going into July. Okay, hopefully we're gonna get better, clearer opportunities moving forward. Index, most of the global index probably still continuing in its consolidation phase. The US is trending, but I want to wait for some sort of pullback before kind of getting involved in it. Okay. Good. So overall, those are the things that I'm looking out for. As I mentioned this week, my primary focus is gonna be gold and crude oil for now. But as things continue to develop, we'll see how the markets evolve. And of course, Thursday we do have the CPI data coming in. Okay, so that's definitely tradable, and we'll see how things go as well. Cool. So yep, that's all from me for this week's update. Of course, all the best to your trading for the week as well. For those of you who are interested to receive the daily analysis, I do have a free trial over here for 7 days. Just go over to thetradingdose.com/trial. Just put in your email, you'll be able to start receiving my daily analysis report that's sent directly to your email. Okay, and of course, once you experience that, if you feel that this definitely is able to help you in your analysis on daily trading day to day, then you can continue with this on the membership side of things. Okay, so yep, that's all from me for today. Let's see how the market evolves, how it develops, right? And all the best to trading. Okay, see you guys in the next one. Good night. Bye bye.